Welcome, everybody, to the Owatonna Wrestling Weekly Podcast. I'm head coach Derek Johnson, joined as always by multi-different coach Gabe Hovden, Min USA right now.
Yes.
It is the season for you.
It is the season for USA.
Folk style, freestyle, Greco, all of that. So first, we're brought to you by Owatonna Glass, proud sponsor of the Owatonna Wrestling Association, and this podcast specifically. So thank you to Ben Wilson and his team over there at Owatonna Glass for continuing a strong tradition that company has had, but then taking it a step further because, oh my gosh, are they good at what they do?
Yes, they do.
Any type of glass, residential, commercial, they get into fiberglass, they get into basically any repair or fabrication. So thank you, Owatonna Glass, for everything you do for the Owatonna wrestling community.
Yes.
We appreciate that.
And the community.
Yeah. Well, this is our first post-Minnesota State High School League tournament podcast. For those of you keeping track, maybe you saw it in the media, maybe you didn't. Owatonna, we had three placers. We had freshman Caden Lindquist took fourth at 107 on the boys' side. And then Isabel Townley took fourth at 106 on the girls' side. And Aaliyah Fitcher took fourth at 148 on the girls' side as well. So we had three placers out of 9 entrants. We had 6 boys, 3 girls competing at the Minnesota State High School League tournament. And really close to having more like 5.
Yep.
A couple of blood round losses. Just a real quick recap. So once again, Caden at 107. Jacob Wilson went 0-1. Unfortunately, his guy who beat him had a tough match, nearly a huge upset against the eventual state champ, St. Germain from Egan. Gabe Robb had a senior captain from Farmington, first round. He went 0-1. Lane Karsten went, well, if you count medical forfeit, 1-2.
It's a win.
Blood round was a tough overtime loss,
Yep.
and I know that's not the way he wanted it to go, but quite honestly, he was wrestling what he weighed. He was not, really losing a pound or anything like that. So Lane Karsten just going out there and putting it out on the line. His 3rd state tournament. So congrats to Lane. We'll have a guest on shortly that also made it to 3 state tournaments. And so nothing for him to hang his head on or his head about at all.
No,
Connor
not
Peterson's
at all.
the real deal from Maple Grove. Spencer Lee was the Eastview kid, not the Spencer Lee.
But Spencer Lee.
Spencer Lee, a very strong in his own right, Spencer Lee. So, yeah, senior captain Lane Karsten, and he'll be wrestling for University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point.
Yep.
His eventual roommate from Hutchinson took 2nd at that tournament. So, yeah, it was cool that those guys connected. Then RJ went, I believe, 0-2. He did get a second round or a second match. And, man, he came extremely close. He was that Wilmer kid, his second match was, Wilmer is, all of them look like they're on steroids. It's crazy. But, yeah, he was so close to kind of RJing it with a big throw. But, nonetheless, senior captain, had a great season. That was his 2nd time to the state tournament. So, congrats to RJ. And then for the boys' side, at least all the way up to Blake Fitcher, number 2 seed, section champ, 3rd time at the state tournament. And, same thing. He lost in the blood round to the number 2 ranked kid.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to him here in a little bit. And then on the girls' side, Isabel had a great tournament. We'll get into that with her when she's on. Michaela Salee, 136.
Kind of a sleeper.
Yeah.
Just coming on strong
and like had a close match. So she, her second match, which for them was the blood round.
Yep.
So it's a small bracket, 8-girl bracket and everything. And she came dangerously close. I think she ended up losing by 2. It was so dang close. So congrats to that second-year wrestler.
Yes.
For nearly placing at the state tournament and coming through a tough section.
I think we'll be seeing her up there again next year.
Yes, she actually is. What is she talking? She's not going to do as much MMA this year.
Right.
It's going to be wrestling.
More wrestling, so that'll be a good thing to the MMA, you go to your back for a defense. I mean, that
Right?
just is complete opposite of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, you pull guard.
Yeah, you pull them on. We want to get them away from us.
Yeah.
So I see great things coming from her.
Same.
So
And then, Aaliyah taking fourth, third time she's placed. And to point this out too, senior captain Isabel Townley, that was the second time she placed. So to go out like that was awesome.
Yep.
So all in all, a great tournament. This wasn't one where, I want to phrase it right. They all achieved about where we thought they were. A little, like I said, I know personally disappointing on some ends. But once again, it's not like any of them got caught and pinned. They all fought really well. We had some tough brackets, and they performed really well.
Yes.
Once again, Lane Karsten losing in the blood round in overtime.
It's a state tournament.
Yeah, Blake Fitcher losing by barely not getting a takedown with 6 seconds left in his first match. There's things like that are so close. This wasn't a couple of years ago. We had a tournament where we just had kind of a soft section before Albert Lee was back up with us. And so a couple of kids that were just wide-eyed. Yeah. And I don't think any of them really were this time. Yeah. And I thought that was the cool part.
Yep. And I mean, state tournament, it doesn't matter if you've been number 1 seed in the guillotine rankings all year. Everybody's coming. It's the last shot. Everybody's giving everything you got. And in wrestling, anybody can beat anybody.
Yeah. There was some big names that went down.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, it's not an easy tournament. That's why they call it the state, and that's the toughest tournament out there.
Absolutely. Well, and like I said, we'll have more. We have Blake Fitcher on today, and then we'll have more of the state entrants on as we progress through this spring. We do this podcast through the end of freestyle, basically. Yep. So, end of April.
April, beginning of May.
So maybe not totally to the end of freestyle. But then on the collegiate side, we had some Owatonna alum competing.
Yes, so Cale Robb and the D2 made the D2 NCAAs. He ended up in 3rd place in his conference. So
for Nebraska Kearney, one of the top 5 programs.
Yep. So he qualified for the national tournament for D2, and then Landon Johnson ended up in 3rd in what was their conference called?
Mid-American for Northern Illinois.
Yep. He qualified. He ended up in 3rd. If I remember it correctly, the last match was a back and forth, and he ended up getting a reversal right at the end with a reversal, then 4 near fall to seal the deal. So it was great to hear that. And then also an old Owatonna wrestler, Blake West, who ended up transferring up towards the cities for Shakopee.
Yep.
But he ended up taking first at the same Mid-America Conference. He wrestles with Landon. Yep. So them two are together. He ended up winning it.
Yeah,
the conference.
125.
So we had 3 or 2.
2 in D1, 1 in D2.
Yeah. 2.5 alumni qualify for NCAA tournaments, which is great. And Jacob Bernardi, I have not heard back from him yet. I've been trying to get a hold of him to see how his season panned out up at Moorhead State, D2. So
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll have more Owatonna guys on ESPN.
Yep.
Which is cool. And then I'm sure D2 will be all over if you have a Flow Wrestling subscription. They're usually pretty good at that. So yeah, that's been a cool thing, and my one gripe that I did give to Dan Johnson, I'm like, what is with Northern Illinois not putting anything on YouTube?
Yeah,
they do the lives, and that's about it, the live broadcast. But if you don't catch that, you'll never see a match. So it's like, God dang it, I want to watch these guys. So that's cool, and congrats to those guys.
Yes.
Very incredibly dedicated. Landon Johnson, Cale Robb, and Blake West. And they were consummate professionals here.
Yep.
And I know I hold, like the person we're going to have on here shortly, Blake Fitcher, to a high standard with how Landon and Cale were captains for us. We actually called Cale Robb Captain America quite a bit. So, congrats to those guys. Couldn't have happened to better human beings. And we look forward to seeing what kind of damage you do on a national level.
Yes. Yes. And they're all young.
Yeah.
They're all young. They still got a couple more years left in them.
Yeah, lots of eligibility. So, we got that. And then back home here, we got big stuff. So we just got done with the MinUSA that final last chance qualifier that we hosted, and thank you to everyone who helped at that. Oh my gosh,
Thank you very much, everybody. It ran real smooth. I mean, it took a while. There was the last age group. Nobody wanted to pin each other. It was full matches.
I know.
So
it's crazy.
It was great matches. Everybody was wrestling full matches at the regional qualifier for state next weekend. We took Asher Johnson on Saturday. He went up to Forest Lake because there was a qualifier on Saturday and then ours on Sunday. He wasn't taking any chances. I've been to a couple other tournaments with him, and he's had 16-man brackets, 14-man bracket, 13-man bracket, and the only top 4 go. So, I mean, and kids that couldn't make it to that were still, jumping into the only tournaments they could get to because maybe their older siblings were wrestling somewhere or family functions. He made it at Forest Lake on a 14-man bracket. He ended up in 3rd place, so he qualified. Nice. And then yesterday we had both the Ewell boys. Finally, they jumped in, and both of them qualified with a 1st and a 2nd.
Nice.
And Owen Sorensen also qualified. He actually had one of the bigger brackets. Yesterday he had a 14-man bracket too to qualify. So far everybody that has wrestled USA, the folk style, has qualified.
That's awesome.
I can say we're 100%.
100%.
But I don't have the numbers that I wish a lot of you other wrestlers would continue to wrestle and get better. It's the only way you're going to get better is by wrestling.
Yeah, and I mean we have such a young crop. A lot of our numbers are fairly new kids, so that makes sense. But nonetheless, it's not a scary thing. It's a cool thing, and but once again, to have a tournament after the middle school season, after the high school season where there's built-in workers and stuff. So thank you to everyone who did spend a lot of time. Thank you to our tournament director, Lance Hendrickson, for the OWA, and Ryan Fitcher for all his help yesterday as well. Yep. Ran through 256 kids, and it was smooth. There was not really any downtime. Nope. It was a constant flow, and we were out of here by 5:30 from the cleanup.
Yep.
So
after cleaning up and everything, it was good to go. So moving on from yesterday, so tomorrow night we have practice 5:30 to 7 for folk style. Thursday there is a speech meet here. The whole school is shut down. We do not have practice.
Okay.
I know we don't have.
That is the 13th.
Yes,
Thursday the 13th.
We don't have this little section is not on Sports Engine. It's not on anything. So I'm going to have somebody that has everybody's email send an email out that we do not have practice on Thursday. But Friday we have the state tournament starting for us for MNUSA. It's on Friday is the U8 and girls.
Okay.
So I know we already have about 4 or 5 girls signed up. I know I got a little U8 that he wanted to continue on, so his dad signed him up. So that age group doesn't need to qualify.
Gotcha.
They get to go to state if they've wrestled somewhere.
Okay.
So and the girls just get to go because it's still new. They don't need to qualify yet for MNUSA. It's ages U8 to U16. This state tournament. So like your junior, senior girls, this is not for them. It's for basically freshmen, younger sophomores, and under.
Okay.
And everybody wrestles their own age. So we got all the girls, and then on Saturday they finish up the girls, and then our rest of our boys that have qualified and the cadet boys, the U16 boys, don't need to qualify because all their qualifiers, I mean, they're all wrestling still in junior high and high school, so they can't go to open tournaments. So they're automatically in. I know there's probably, I'm guessing, 5 or 6 boys that are also going. So, I mean, it's good to see.
No, it really is. And butts right up to the Freestyle Greco season the following week.
Following week on Tuesday, we start the Freestyle Greco. Practice as of right now with our numbers, we are going to be running from 5:30 to 7 every Tuesday and Thursday for the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep.
Depending on, and some kids, if you do well at it and you qualify in certain areas, you end up, we'll keep having practices if we have to, but you end up being on the Minnesota teams.
Right.
And we've had kids in the past, I know Lindquist. I know
Miles.
Miles. I know Gabe.
Aaliyah Fisher.
Kayla
Pastica.
Kayla. They've all made qualified, and I mean, they get to do some traveling.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that is a cool benefit. And
yep.
as an organization, the OWA, the Owatonna Wrestling Association, helps pay for trips like that. We never want financial situations to prohibit or exclude a family from being able to do anything. We always say, like, if you're putting in that amount of dedication and time and hard work and performance where you make a team like that, hey, we'll do everything we can to help sponsor you and make sure that you can go.
Yep. And all association kids, I mean, yes, you have to have a USA card. But I mean, all our youth from 5th grade under, they already all have a card.
Yep.
So, but for the 6th graders and up, you sign up under the association, you wrestle 3 tournaments, we do reimburse you.
After those 3 tournaments.
You come to practice and show that you're interested in, that you're not just going to go to one tournament and boom, be done.
Yeah.
Show some interest, show some dedication, and you get rewarded for it. So
Absolutely. So you got that, and then also for middle school, high school, we have our weightlifting, our Black Shirt Club weight training starting up next week as well, March 17th. And this is kind of a crazy coincidence. Your practice is 5:30 to 7, and weight training starts at 7 o'clock, goes till 8:30. Weird how that happens.
And hey, I'll even let them out 5 minutes early to go catch a
you
little
hear
break.
That?
Catch a little break before you go in there and lift.
Boom.
Yep, you're all warmed up, ready to go.
There you go. Yeah. So and that paid dividends for the dedicated wrestlers. You were working the weight room with us last year, and it's kind of strange who did much better during the regular wrestling season in comparison to who came to that weight training, who put in the time and the work and everything. It was a direct correlation.
Yep. And a lot of the kids that were at that weight training were just on the mat wrestling. Yeah. Technique, any kind of mat time, you will get better. You will see progress.
Yeah. It's both. They need both of those things. And so it's gonna
And progress doesn't happen just like that. You have to work at it. You have to put in the time.
Yes, absolutely. So, no, that's great. That's a lot of big stuff in spring. Also, I want to talk about the banquet. So the Owatonna Wrestling Banquet is scheduled for Sunday, April 6th. That's the second Sunday as you're getting back from spring break. Eagles really booked up. And they've been kind enough to whittle out a spot there. But it is, 5 o'clock, so hopefully people are already back in town at that point. And it's free to the middle school and high school wrestlers and the managers. And then it's $15 per ticket at the door. All we're really trying to do is just cover the cost of the event and the awards. So that's for all wrestling, don't get me wrong, but specifically that's the awards night for middle school and high school for the Owatonna Wrestling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any other big news in wrestling right now going on?
I don't know. Max McAnally barely didn't get it done. That was But no, it's a fun time of the year, and once again, thank you to all the dedicated people that, it's not just a 15-week season. It's nowadays it's year round, and we realize that we have a lot of multi-sport athletes. So thank you to the parents that do take them to everything and bounce around and help keep these kids focused, because you only get to do this for so many years, and then you're an adult.
Yeah.
That's super fun.
You're an adult, and as a parent, I'll be honest. Since my daughter left, that's why I'm back into wrestling and doing stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I going to do with my time? I'm not running to softball anymore. I'll go back to wrestling, and now, I'm full force into this. It's just part of what I do, and I think it's great. And the other parents that are doing that, that are running their kids, it will come to an end. You think, I get to relax. Well, kind of get bored unless you have other really good hobbies.
Well, and everybody talks about it. It's like, it's a run, and then you miss it. You don't think you'll miss it, but you do. And that's so. Once again, thank you to everybody who volunteers and contributes so much to Owatonna Wrestling. We appreciate that.
Especially the people that helped on Sunday.
That too.
It's
a big day.
Yeah, it was a long day. We set up on Saturday night, and that went great. And there's a few things I learned on Saturday night that that definitely we got to talk about on this little machine I figured out.
Oh, the mat tape machine?
The mat tape machine.
Yeah.
I taped, what was it, 4 mats within like 25 minutes by myself.
Yeah.
It was.
We might have to invest.
Yes, that thing was slick. So.
Yeah. Well, and so along those lines, well, maybe not even that related. So we got that, like our constant. What made me think of this is the constant like things we're learning here, but also if you get emails from myself and probably another couple of board members, we're trying to hunt down any and all photos of each one of the state place winners in Owatonna wrestling history going back to 1941. So the collaboration, we're going to deck out the wrestling room with all the memorabilia, and we don't want it to just be the last 20 years.
Yep.
We want it to go all the way back. That's going to be a big concerted effort from this community. They don't have to be digital. If we can just get our hands on them.
A photo.
A photo and scan. And we're looking for 3-4 photos, and we realize that we're probably going to be talking to like grandkids.
Yep.
For some of those 1950s, 60s people. So just keep an eye out. Watch our Owatonna Wrestling Association Facebook page, Instagram, things like that, because it's going to be kind of a call to action. We want to bring it all together. We want to archive things and celebrate this rich history the right way. So, all right. Well, we'll be right back with senior captain and 3-time state qualifier Blake Fitcher. Welcome back to the Owatonna Wrestling Weekly podcast. We're here with one of our senior captains, the heavyweight, we get to say now, Mr. Blake Fitcher. How are you, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
So how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Finished up my wrestling career at the state tournament. Not a lot of people get to say they did that, so I had a fun time up there. This was probably my most fun year of wrestling, actually. I enjoyed a lot of it, actually. I never really complained a bunch at practice. I had fun there, and I like beating up on the little freshmen when they came, or the little 8th graders when they came in at the end of the year. That's the best part of the year. So
you can name names.
Mason Sorensen.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
What is that, about 107, 110 pound difference?
Oh, it's got to be more than that. I'm telling you, he's like 80 pounds.
He's bigger than that. He's bigger than that.
Okay,
He's bigger
sure.
than that.
No. So, and your 3rd trip to state, 2nd section championship. So that, once again, not a lot of people have done that. It's a great thing to hang your hat on. You had a tough draw. We kind of knew you had to win first round just to make it a little easier on yourself, because as it played out, by not winning first round, you beat the kid that you would have had second round when you were on the consolation side. So it was kind of there it was type of mentality. Yeah, but that's the way those go, and you finished strong. You had a great year overall.
Great career.
Yeah.
you.
Did you think by the time you were a senior, going from freshman, 3rd in at the time a pretty weak section, at one, where you had 95 that year?
I was 82.
82, okay. To being a 3-time state entrant, and you only had 1 loss going into the state tournament this year, so that was pretty dominant. Did you see yourself kind of going that path?
Oh dear, no. I was like, what was I, 16 and 16 my freshman year.
Yeah.
And I just didn't really think I was like, I thought I was just going to be like another guy on the team, never really going to do a whole lot with it. But I really feel like I put my head down and work, especially once I started getting with like Landon and Jacob and Andrew my freshman year. I learned a lot there. I think as the year progressed, I got a lot better.
Yeah.
And then my sophomore year, my practice partner was Kale, which he was giving up weight to do that. And I learned a lot from him too. And then last year I went with Flemke, and then this year I ended up going with Feltzy a lot, who I came to learn it's very frustrating to wrestle, but I think that made me better too, because he's very he can get out of anything.
Yeah, and he's clingy too.
Yes, he
so
rolls
strong
around, and he's good at his own thing, and I liked going with him every once in a while, But and Woody, I went with Woody a ton this year.
Yeah.
That definitely helped me deal with like the bigger guy aspect, having to actually use my strength, and I got the weight on me, now I got to get up, because I knew at the end of the year I was going to go up. But yeah, I think it was a lot of reps at practice. That took a lot of time out of my life at practice, and I put my head down a lot and just worked, and I feel like that kind of went out in my favor in the end.
For sure, for sure. It seemed like this year was. I always felt like you were a visitor in the first couple of years, meaning like, yeah, football is life, and this keeps me in shape, type of thing. Versus this year, you had like hard goals, which and even a little bit of junior year too. I think about halfway through the year, you were starting to kind of ramp up with that mentality, and then you didn't shy away from tough stuff this year. You went with Coach Sorensen, Coach Thorne, guys like that too, and Coach Flatland, I'm sure, a little bit.
Yeah, Coach Sorensen, man, I'll tell you what.
I was going to ask about that. How'd that pan out for you?
I think he let me take him down a few times, so I'll put that on the record book. But
that you took him down.
Yeah,
I
took
him down.
I took him down. Yeah, you can cut out the first part of that he let me, but I took him down.
Here first.
Yeah,
folks.
I took him down. Let's just say that. But those guys definitely helped out a bunch. And like you said, I had a lot of goals this year. It ended up not being how I wanted to. When I first saw my bracket coming out as a 2 seed, I was like, oh, it's go time. I'm gonna finally place, and I think I got a little ahead of myself. And that's why it kind of panned out that way. Yeah. I'm not going to make excuses. Coles beat me straight up. We didn't do a whole lot, and that's my fault. Even I could say he was stalling all I want. I was too. I mean, I didn't do a whole lot. And honestly, I'm not going to make this excuse either, but like this year I was flying. I only lost once, and then at that cast. And when I hurt my ankle, I just feel like I never had the confidence to kind of wrestle like that again,
Yeah, that against Landon Rouse, that was...
I never really... I looked so good that day. If you ask me, I was flying, shooting, you were pinning everybody. I think I almost had 2 techs, and I just ended up pinning them both. Like I was up by like 14s and 13s and stuff like that, and I pinned them both. And I kicked Rouse's butt, but I sprained my ankle real bad, and I don't think I ever really fully recovered. It still hurts me in like certain aspects to this day. It's just, I feel like I don't know if that's what was holding me back, but. It sucked to get hurt like that, and I had to sit out for Albert Lee, and they were riding high about after that one, even though half the lineup was out. But
I know, pretty cocky.
Oh well.
Yeah, and that'll certainly come into play. I mean, that type of injury, the fact that you stuck out that match that day to finish it off against a ranked wrestler, and even had to get one more takedown in the third after spraining your ankle that bad, that was some crazy toughness, but. It was cool to see you, put it on the line. Your section final match against Caleb Loomis was pretty awesome because you'd been on the other end of 4-1 matches in your career, but to see you really stay composed and not get frustrated. Take us through a little bit about that match.
We had the plan of doing nothing in the first period, and I thought that went well.
Clarify. We said if it ends 0-0, that is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I was installing my life away here. I wasn't trying to give up any takedowns. And, of course, I wanted one, but first period, a big fresh guy, all 280 pounds, probably not going to take him down. A good 280 pounder.
Yeah, he's athletic.
You're probably not going to take him down because they're still fresh. So second period, he goes down. And I almost did what Landon did. I wanted to wink at you, but I felt like I could have either ridden him out or even turned him because he was already starting to become wet. He was a very wet person. He was slippery. So he was already slippery and wet, so I knew I could probably hold him down and keep him down there. He wouldn't be able to do much. And I ended up locking up a bar on his big old self. And I was surprised with myself, and I was like, I'm going to run this. And I probably went a little too fast. I probably could have pinned the guy. But I took off and ran the bar, and I ended up getting 3 swipes for it. I thought I got 4, but I ended up getting 3 swipes for it, and I was like, oh, it's 3 zip now, and he's still down.
Yeah, so now he's got to chase you.
Right, he's got to come get me now. So eventually he got up because he's too big, and I kind of just did nothing for the rest of the second period. I was like, all right, let me get to the third. No, you controlled
the match.
I controlled the match into the whole
that
rest
nothing
of the
thing, because you did more than nothing.
And to clarify, your stuff in neutral is drag based. You have a couple different cool passes and stuff like that. Well, good luck trying to drag someone who's sweating so badly that you're just sliding, like you couldn't even get a hold of him. So
he was glistening.
Yeah, to clarify, that's kind of in a couple of different setups. It's 100% of your setups, though.
Right. Yeah.
So that was the frustrating part. And honestly, like if he wasn't that type of sweater, I could imagine that you were, you probably would have grabbed a duck or a shot in the first period anyway.
Yeah, I went for that dagger standing, and it was just like slips right off. And
Yeah.
I was like, did you see me wiping my
Yeah,
hands
you had to wipe
every
your
single
hand.
time?
He wasn't pushing out his singlet like Jax Forrest or anything, or
No.
McAnally. It was legit like,
Yeah, I was disgusted.
Yeah.
And then the third period, you told me to go up, and I was like, should I go down? Because maybe I feel like I could get up, but I'm assuming you did that because he's such a big guy. You didn't want me to get potentially turned and screwed. So I went neutral, and then I was like, okay, I'm just going to frustrate him.
Yeah, because we didn't know what he had in his back pocket.
Right.
The Century kid got away from him, but at the same time, it was kind of a struggle. And so it's like, you know what, why risk it? And then, we didn't say it out loud. We just knew he was going to have to take a desperation shot, because you were staying in great position. Sure enough, a big guy like that tries to Superman, and you just do-si-do.
Yeah, what was that, about 30 seconds left? You could tell he was just like, I got to make something happen because he's down 3-1.
Right.
So he ended up just flying at my legs, and I kind of just did a simple goal behind like Starachi did yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Just simple.
McAnally.
Yeah, so, and then I ended up winning 6-1, and I feel like that was like one of my smartest matches I've ever wrestled. Just strategically wise. It was very like deliberate and planned out, and I kind of just let it come to me after that and ended up getting a section chip, and he ended up taking 4th place, and I didn't get on the podium. So Coach Flatland was saying, you kind of got to feel good about yourself knowing that you're right there. And I was like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he had also beaten Cole, so I was like, it kind of hurts too because I just
Right.
lost to this guy. But like I said, not going to make excuses. I should have won. That's on me. But giving it to Maxie too, that was pretty fun.
Well, yeah, and how that match went is he went out and did a kind of a standing cement mixer, gator roll from his feet, and you blocked it almost. I think he got some headgear to finish that takedown against Max Cole. But you didn't give up backs. You ended up getting out, and then he's just a really tall dude.
Yeah, he kept keeping his distance.
Yeah, but then once you committed to a low shot and not doing anything up top, you could see the writing on the wall. We just needed it a little earlier, and that was kind of it. But you were right there.
Yeah, it's in the past now. I'm not going to dwell on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I knew I could have probably gotten 3rd, 4th, 5th there. Babbitts was a big guy.
Yeah.
I wonder what that would have been like if I got to him. He was a really big dude, but I knew I was right there, and like I said, not gonna just hold it against me. I'm proud of what I did. Over 100 wins, 50 pins. I'll definitely take that. Not a lot of people.
Not
can
a
say
lot
they
of
did
people
that.
can say that.
You're right. So
Exactly.
The only ones that can are at the state tournament
Right.
multiple times.
something to be proud of.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, and thank you for everything you did in the room, and off the mat too. You're a great student, a great role model, and that's why, as a captain, it just made sense. And you were really maturing into that over the course of your career. It wasn't just kind of an overnight thing. And now you're taking that into other sports. So football went great for you. Tell us a little bit about plans post high school here.
Well, today we started our track and field season, and I'm gonna throw a shot put disc, just get some weightlifting in, get strong again, and then after the summer's over, I'm gonna go to Gustavus Adolphus College in St. Peter, and I'm gonna play football there and study into law enforcement and stuff, trying to get into that field. Not quite sure exactly what I want to do yet. Federal agent sounds kind of cool, or something like that, or maybe
I could see you doing that.
yeah, pretty cool. Or get on like a local SWAT team or something, or be a trooper, something cool like that. One of those cool jobs, and then hopefully play all 4 years of football there, and get into the workforce and start the adult life.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe a little UFL in there too.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, arena football. Who knows?
Yeah, arena football. That's just destroying each other in like an ice hockey rink.
No, that's awesome though. But yeah, that once again, we've had you on probably all 4 years at some point. So I bet it's just an absolute adorable progression over the years and everything. But what's kind of like one piece of advice you want to give younger wrestlers? And it could be any age, but like what's something that really helped you develop?
I said it at senior night a little bit, but it was like kind of really find your love for the sport. If you're coming in every day and saying this sucks, I don't want to do this anymore, you're not going to have a good time, and you're not going to progress. You're not going to get any better, and you're just going to be looking at all the negative things. Oh, I lost again. What's new, But like especially this year, I really took some strides, and like I only had the one loss coming into state, but when I did, like my freshman year, I'd get all pissy and stuff that I lost because I lost a ton, and I'd go like tear up in the corner or something. But as I got older, I was like, this is stupid. Just reflect on that. You're gonna have another match. You're gonna get more chances and stuff. You may even wrestle the kid again, and it's just that take your losses with like a grain of salt. Take all the negatives with a grain of salt. Look at those more than the positives. Don't just watch all your matches that you won, or look at the ones that you lost, and like really like dedicate yourself to the sport. It's a grind. It's hard, but that's probably the best part of it all. Is it really teaches you self-discipline. I wrote an article about this in school actually, about wrestling and how like what it teaches you on all the life lessons. So Gabe came in a quick trip actually the other day and told me that it teaches you good life lessons. So
yeah,
it's wrestling's definitely more connected to life than you think. Really
it is.
Figure that out. So
It helps you get through the tough times.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
'cause wrestling is not easy. It's tough, and it'll help you. Like we had that conversation. It's going to help you at some point in your life. You're going to be like, oh, I can do this. It's not that bad.
100%.
So
yeah. You need to drop 40 pounds for a wedding. I can do that. in
Yeah.
Not a
3
problem.
weeks. Yeah.
Give me a sauna and a sweatsuit. We're going at it. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, no,
over the
that's
4
great.
years, I mean, my freshman year, I was like, oh my gosh, wrestling stinks. I got to go practice again. And then this year, it was always fun to walk into the room, throw miles on the wall like once or twice, and then
Yeah.
wrestle with Woody a little bit. That was my day for about 4 months. So it was fun, and yeah, I'll definitely look back at it and think it's some good times.
Absolutely. Well, and to that point, I can attest to that. There's a moment that sticks out for me. It was sophomore year at Maple River. You lost in the semis at that individual tournament, and you're over there sulking in the corner a little bit, and you were just saying like, I suck. I just suck. Like, dude, you realize you're 30-5 right now? Like your record was crazy, and that was the thing. Is like I feel like our entire career was telling you like, dude, you're better than you think, type of deal. And so I'm glad that you were able to kind of shift that mentality because here's a direct correlation. You can think going to your job sucks every day. You can think, like doing adulting, here's a surprise, is not crazy exciting all the time.
Yeah.
So you will have to find like the joy in it. You can't just live for the weekend and be a drone. You got to be in the present and like kind of enjoy the journey. So I'm glad you were able to turn that corner.
Yeah,
So
what helped me a lot too was like last year after Albert Lee, you're just like, you do realize that you're this big guy who looks scary, who is very fast, strong. I was like, and you're just like, overall, you're a scary guy. Use that to your advantage. And then I remember before my section finals match, you're like, you're scary. Just remember that. And that kind of helped me flip my switch. I was just like, I'm not giving myself enough credit.
No.
So I think that's what really helped me out going on the mat is like, you're a dominant person. These guys probably look at you, they're like, holy crap. Like even I do that sometimes. Like I just said with Babbitts, you kind of look at him, you're just like, my God.
Yeah.
Who's that big? How do you get that big? But that's the intimidation factor of wrestling. If you lose in your head, you're going to lose the match more than likely. So
Absolutely.
There's a big difference between confidence and cocky.
right. Mm-hmm.
And if you're confident, it's a goal. One of the memories I have of you is for some reason in my head I got this picture of you holding a trophy in your all little blue singlet. You were maybe 3 feet tall. I'm not going to say a little roundy, but you were solid.
Yeah.
And then seeing you on the podium at sections, that was going from that little picture, remembering that to seeing that. It's been great watching you come through the years.
Thank you.
So that's what I got for you. Matches, I couldn't remember half your matches, but them two, I got them 2 pictures just stuck in my head. So it was great watching you.
Kind of the significant moments. I don't remember half my matches this year. I don't remember where we were some days and some weekends, but
Yep.
I know it was long. I know it was hard, but like I said earlier, that's kind of the fun of it. Now that it's over, it's time to rest up a bit. Maybe come back coach one day or something. Be like Coach Woody and just hop in when I want and beat up on the kids. think it's funny.
That is the fun part.
I always made fun of him for that because I'm like, you beat up on a 17-year-old kid and you think this is fun, and you just laugh at me because I'm just like, I think he's never heard of it like that way of coaching before. But
It's the only sport you can do it. What other sport can you get thanked for beating the crap out of a kid? Their parents are like, you're toughening them up, and you're like, I mean, yeah, exactly.
But it's happened to all of us.
Right.
I mean, it happened
Yeah.
to me. I had coaches do that to me. I know you had coaches do it to you.
Jeez, Becker, Mariotti.
Yep, that and the Becker name kind of sounds really familiar because that happened to me too.
Yep.
I can't even imagine what it was like back then.
Yeah. Well, once again, this is pretty bittersweet. Hopefully we do see you back here in a wrestling capacity, if, just hopping in or maybe one day coming back to coach and everything. We'd love to have you because you've been a great role model. And we know you're going to be successful at whatever you do. So who knows where you're going to be as an adult. But, we're going to miss you, Fitch.
Yeah, I'll miss it all, too. All the coaches, all my buddies I made in the room, and definitely the bus rides back. Those were really funny.
Yeah. Right. Well, sounds good, sir. Do you any shout-outs, anything like that you want to do?
Grandma, Grandpa, and Mom and Dad sticking it out with me. And, Cameron, she came to every single meet of mine. And my girlfriend came to every single meet of mine. So people like that mean a lot to me. So thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Look at that maturity. You even thanked your sister, and 2
we-
years
we
ago
don't-
you wouldn't have.
I think I would have roundhouse kicked her.
Yeah.
I'll
No,
probably
that's
go home
awesome.
and make fun of her or something.
Yeah, there you go.
That's tough love.
Exactly.
That's tough love.
Tough love, yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. And, we're going to have a few more of the senior captains on in the near future as in the state place winners as well. And we'll keep that rolling. And I'll see you at all the track meets.
Will do.
So,
Yep.
all right. Thanks, bud.
Thank you.